Welcome back. So we are with Kalachuri Channa Wijewardena, and we've just touched on the experience in IFA with the glamorous and arousing welcome and how it all started, how it all happened, and the amazing reviews Channa has been getting with respect to the choreography he did. Now, moving on, Channa. Now the dance in you. How did it all happen? What are the events that kindled the dance in you?
Well, before dancing, I was into sports. I played raga for college. I was Isipatanian. I played raga for college, basketball, table. You know, this happened because I lived just next to the YMCA, so the sports are there. So I was into sports. And my sister was a student of Chitrasena Kalayatane. She was in the troupe as well. And I had to always go and get her out of, when she finishes classes, I had to go after raga practice, go and bring her. So this was going on for years like that. And then Vajira auntie, we call her Vajira auntie, Srimat Vajira auntie, because she is my guru. She told Channa, we are having a show, can you go and help? Can you help us with the souvenirs? No, I had to help them with the souvenirs. I said, okay. And after practice, I went. I had to take my other clothes, and I went at the YMB Bora. I still remember this. And I was selling souvenirs. And after I finished selling, I went and sat in, and it's all foreigners seated around, Europeans, Americans, just sitting, and the show going on. At one time, there was a light coming on a spot, and I just saw a marble carved statue. That was Dr. Chitrasena, like a carved statue, and I just couldn't take my eyes out of that. And I just saw him moving, the way he started moving, and his eyes and everything. You know, that's the day the switch turned on. And suddenly, I was realizing, oh my gosh, I'm doing something for my body too, but he's doing something. People are appreciating this is, and I just couldn't take I just went straight into it. And that was the day. I straight went, next day I went and asked, Vajina, do you like to come? And she asked me actually. I said, okay. And then that was the first day I started to dance with Ravi Bandhu on my side. He and Ravi Bandhu, and we were together, we were dancing. There were a couple of other dancers, male dancers. We are the ones who continued into dance, and our teachers of Vajirani. Then came Dr. Chitrasen into performing arts, and we learned about the stage and lights, and Dance of Love came through that. That was the start.
So that was the start, and you've also taken dance to a different dimension, if I may say so. But people also said sometimes you were breaking away from the tradition, but you referred in the first part that you were very much within tradition, but you were improvising. But how did you sort of develop this extremely unique and maybe the revolutionary dance style that is so you? How did it happen?
Well, for my small days, I always wanted to improvise on something. Whatever I get, I used to improvise. Always improvising on these things, and I wanted to improvise and do something of my own like. And I just couldn't get away from it because I was always learned that whatever I do, it was a traditional movement coming in. Every movement I was doing from tradition. So when there was a time I used to dance with Kema. She was my dancing partner. She's a superb dancer, female dancer we have in Sri Lanka. And I was dancing, but I couldn't get away. And then her mother, which is Vida Kenaman, told me, Channa, you have done sports. Both are done by your body. Just show me some moves. So I just went to a raga pose. I did a basketball one, I did a javelin, I did a putt. Then she said, right, we'll link these into music and go on this. Then they have a lot of music there. So they just put a music piece and told me to do movements, and I went, then I felt moving. I felt improvising. I felt movements coming, and then I
to say sports movements.
Sports movement. From this, I knew that movements can come into dance, and then I was breaking away from the tradition. Then I did a Candian step and incorporated a movement into that.
Like a sports, sports.
From the Candian step, I went to one step like that, and then straight went to, So then I was feeling good. My gosh, I'm doing something. Then our maestro Premisir came and as a composed a piece of music called Swaire, and I did this. A small item of 7 minutes called Out of Bondage, Fire, and that was my first solo creative dance, which I broke away. Not broke, I won't.
That's the thing, you are saying the same thing.
I improvised through the tradition, but it was on the base of the traditional dance, all the leaps and everything. Only thing I gave more glamour to the leap.
Right. So, Channa, can you clarify that, because it is not very clear. Now, when you say you didn't break away from the tradition and improvised, what is exactly
What I mean by
happening?
breaking is, I'm not saying that I just ignore the tradition, threw it away and went. I didn't do that. I had the tradition, whatever I did. Whatever I did, it was traditional there. So, through the tradition, I was improvising. Because I knew, like say this, now a lot of schools, they teach steps. Te, or te. Kitta, te, tam. And that's a tungariya. There's lots of movements in this. It's not just take it. It's not take it. Te. Then from here to here, there's a movement. So you can te and improvise on this te. You know, you improvise between the two steps.
So what you are saying is the
Movement.
space between the two
Exactly.
steps, and you add something to that.
You add some. What is movement? Space, timing, and energy. So space, timing, energy is movement. That's rhythm. Rhythm comes out from space, time. It's space, time, and energy. What the choreographer does is they apply these shapes into it, different shapes. So that's why there's space and the time. So I different shape into that. But the shape is in the tangent take because it's in between the tunga.
So basically you play with space, time and energy.
Yeah, and I start painting. The body starts painting in the certain space.
So you see yourself as a paintbrush?
As the painting.
As a painting?
Yeah, the creator sees as the paintbrush. Maybe it's a product that I see.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So in that sense, like the sports movements and what is
sorry. Sport movements is the one which gave me the idea to break away from a ring of movements.
And
I was stuck in movements, like stuck to break away into that. Not that I'm not from the tradition, but when you're in one ring, you have to break away from that. Sports helped me to do that.
So what else helped you to do that? Sports is one thing, but is there anything else that helped you to bring that additional flavor into it?
No, then the temple paintings came in.
Temple paintings,
Temple,
but
because
how can a temple painting add to it?
It's when you go in a temple, you see these beautiful paintings. Then I used the tribhangi, which are 3 curves of a woman, and I saw it in the temples. Then the earthy colors.
3 curves in the woman.
It's a 3 curve. You go into a line, you give 3 curves.
Okay.
So I use 3 curves. You keep your foot, there's 3 curves. You keep your hand, everything, there's 3 curves.
So
they say anything artistic is something which doesn't divide from 2. If it's 3, is artistic. If it's not 4, it's not artistic. You're waiting for another one. You're not waiting. You're finished. You have to always bloom. So if it's 3, you wait for another one. If it's 4, it's finished. If it's 5, you're waiting for another one. 6. So you're improvising. Improvising is creations. You're creating.
So basically you're improvising on the 3 curves.
Yeah, on the 3. That's another style what I got. Then the colors from the temple, because one of my great-great-grandfather is a temple painting, which I found out later, and that's maybe that's why I can draw, and that's how I came into costume designing, because you cannot design a costume without drawing a human being. You have to draw, and then you have to apply the costume on the figure. So if you can't draw, I don't know how these costume designers are doing when they can't draw. You have to first draw and then come into the costume design, and they should picture it. What I do when I choreograph, what happens is there's about 50-60 papers on the ground because I start drawing the costume while creating, because it has to go with the dance.
So basically when you are choreographing, are you doing it in the moment?
Very moment, because I don't believe in choreographing something as if that's happened. No? So that ayya doesn't even see the dance. Now this particular person doesn't even see the gajagavanna which he is creating. He brings a set of 6 costumes which will never go, which might not go with the dance. It might, sometime might go. You should know the texture of the material. You should know what color, what shot.
So are you saying you design costume for all your dance?
Yeah, I design it. I think the choreographer, that is why Ravi Bandhu is up. He's a choreographer plus a designer. He's on top because of that. He designs it while choreographing. I think about the texture, everything counts, because the movement, if there is no movement in the costume, we have to give life to the costume as well. If the garment is wrong, there is no movement. So everything comes into that. Then you should know how to cut the jacket. It's cut on a cross. If you don't cut the jacket on a cross, you can't lift your hand. It goes up. So these small things comes into dance, and slowly by this it creates. Everything applies into it.
So how does your subconscious thought process? Is it at the maximum? I mean, if you have to coordinate so many things, I can't expect like only your conscious mind taking over.
No.
Do you have a very strong rapport going on?
I have a very good critic behind me. That's Upuli, my wife. She hits it. She'll not say good for nothing. She'll not say, she say, Harina. Moge mukaddu vera.
#151# Amatana. Mobitel Smart Recharge Bonanza.
Plan out the day. It's the morning you get up. You should plan out your day. You should have a timetable. You open the window and look out. You get the cosmic energy. You get the plus energy. Take away the minus. Get all the plus energy. Feel the energy coming in, and think of what you're going to do. What I'm going to do useful today. I'm going to create this. I'm going to do that. I should be neutral before creating.